Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Also now streaming on Sports 1440's YouTube. You can go subscribe at Sports 1440 AM. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas with you here. Brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhockbeefjerky.com. The text line 1-833-401-1440. Hope you guys all had a fantastic long weekend. Duke, how you doing? What'd you get up to this weekend?
Good morning, Connor. Had a great weekend. Didn't really get up to too much of anything, to be honest. Watched a lot of football between Friday night down at Footfield, Golden Bears and Huskies. Saturday, college football, the start of another great season on that front. Sunday, some more college action, CFL, and then wrapping it up yesterday with Elks and Stamps last night from Calgary. Tough result for the green and gold, but if we're all being very frank and honest with ourselves, did we expect much different? Maybe the way to land at the final result, we would have been encouraged to see some more offensive production. But did anyone really think they were going to go into Calgary and tank that one off of the Stampeders?
Probably not. Like you said, maybe a bit of a encouraging finish would have been a little bit more valuable to some fans, especially coming off 3 straight wins against the Eastern Conference teams. I joked on X last night, maybe CFL relocation would be a good thing for the Elks. They could give those Eastern Conference opponents just a little bit more, but Stamps are a good team. That's a really good defense. They did a really good job getting pressure with 3 on Cody Fajardo, who at times, was kind of just running for his life back there. Had a few chances downfield, but it was more prayers, I thought, than anything. And the Edmonton Elks fall. They'll do it again on Saturday down at Commonwealth. 5 o'clock start. Should be a fun one. Hopefully the weather hangs up and the smoke clears by then. But not the ideal game for the Edmonton Elks. So we're into year 3 now here on Sports 1440. 2 years down, hopefully many more to go. I just want to give a big thank you again to everyone who made this whole station possible. JR and Stingray, Jay with Oilers Nation and the fine folks over there, and then Jason Greger with Just a Game keeping us going here on the AM radio. So we appreciate all those guys for all the work that they've done in the past, and all of you guys who have tuned in, even if it's just texting in every once in a while, listening in, subscribing to us on our social media feeds. It does mean a lot. So thank you so much. Crazy to think, Duke. It feels like yesterday we were kicking off this show on the other side of the building. Just people randomly looking at us in West Edmonton Mall.
And we do miss that a little bit. The people watching is a little more internally focused now. We get to see everyone arriving, at least I do, to their work days here inside Stingray Studios. But no, it's been great, obviously. And starting year number 3, coming out of the long weekend, onwards and upwards. We're now live on the YouTube. Like and subscribe. Get those numbers up. And it's kind of funny how it coincides, Connor, that we on this program focus in on fantasy sports as much as possible, realistically possible. And it just so happens to coincide with, the start of another NFL season and fantasy football. As a result, we got our leagues draft tonight with all of our lucky winners, the 11 listeners that will get to go up against you and I co-owning a team. I'm pumped. I'm absolutely giddy for the kickoff of Thursday night between the Eagles and my projected last place finishers in the NFC East, Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, hey, that changed a little bit with the trade last week, which is, probably surprised us all. Are you going to be coming into the studio for the draft, Duke, at 6 o'clock, or what's your game plan? Are you going to, leave it in my capable hands? What's your plan?
If you're willing, I know you have, a 10-month-old baby and a wife at home. If you are willing to stick around, I will happily drive the 10 minutes back over here and we can do it together in person.
Well, that's a first. We'll probably do that. I think we have it set for 6 o'clock. I should know, being the guy who set it all up, but I'm fired up for this one, Duke. We had 2 drafts over the weekend. I picked 3 both times. We went out golfing to settle our positioning for one of my leagues, and we only count the par 3s when it comes to scores. So just
smart,
to try to
level playing.
Yeah, because I golf once a year, and I actually finished tied for first on those par 3s. So I got the first decision where I wanted to go. I didn't want to make the first pick. I didn't want to make the second pick. I said, I'll take 3 because I'm very happy with either Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, or Jamar Chase. I would have been happy with Saquon Barkley as well. But I took 3, ended up with Jahmyr. Happy about it. Didn't have to wait too long for it to rotate back to me. And then in the second league, 3rd spot, exact same situation. And I thought maybe I go away from him, so if he has an off week, it doesn't sink me in 2 leagues. But no, Duke, I'm rolling with Jahmyr Gibbs this year. Got him in both my leagues. Same with Baker Mayfield. Same with George Kittle, I believe. Doubled up on a few players. I think even like Justin Herbert. I said I gotta.
Shocker.
Well, he could bounce back. 23 touchdowns. He was efficient last year.
Bump those numbers up,
but he could bounce back big time. So, did you have any drafts over the weekend?
No, mine are wrapped just tonight with the Fantasy Frenzy League to wrap things up. I mentioned, we've talked about it quite a bit. My Dynasty one a few weeks ago, all rookies. I came away from that smelling like roses in my own opinion, which is natural, I think. I would actually love to hear from the listeners. Have you ever done a fantasy draft where you actually finish and you're like, my team sucks? Like, this is terrible. I'm destined for a last place finish. Because I know some platforms will give out grades right after you finish your league's draft. To be like, you get a B- or whatever. I did one with a buddy a couple of years ago where we got given an F grade coming out of the draft. And it was a take, like my buddy was taking over the team in a keeper league from somebody else that had quit. So the keepers we had were terrible. Positioning was bad, all these factors. And the league gave us an F grade. I think he made it all the way to, if not the league finals, the semifinals for sure. Yeah. So it just goes to show it doesn't mean anything. But I am interested. Like, have you ever done a fantasy draft in any sport and finished it and said to yourself, my team is terrible?
It's a running joke with my friend group that if you get a D or something in Yahoo Fantasy,
you're destined for the P-loss.
You're probably going to win. And I got a D+. So hoping for the best. Baker Mayfield, Lad McConkey, Devontae Adams, Jahmyr Gibbs, DeAndre Swift, Kittle, Sutton, Dicker, and then the Eagles defense for this week. We'll probably have some fun with that and bounce it around a little bit. My bench is Ricky Pearsall, Austin Eckler, Keon Coleman, Herb, Hunter Henry, and your boy Marks.
Woody Marks?
Woody Marks. Because you know what? I don't know if I can count on Nick
Chubby.
And
that Houston backfield is a big question
for the
mark
year.
Right now.
So if I was like, that was my last pick, deep stash. We'll see what happens. Might have to cut him after like 2 weeks if Nick Chubb bounces back, but I'm into it. I'm fired up for tonight. I wonder where we'll pick. If we pick 3, Duke, do I make it the trifecta? Do we just go with Jahmyr Gibbs?
I, like you, at least in this specific scenario of this season, I do it in hockey, I do it in football. I try and make my teams as similar as possible, just because then I don't feel myself fighting. Like when I'm watching games on Sunday, be like, oh, in this game I need X to happen, but in the same game I actually need Y to happen. It's nice to just root for the same thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You have a favorite team you root for every week. Mine's the Texans. Yours are the Chargers. I don't flip-flop every week just based on the matchups or something. So I like to have the same mentality for my fantasy teams. Now, does that bury me some years? Yeah, of course. If like you said, Jahmyr Gibbs has a bad season, you're pretty well sunk. You use your top pick on him twice over, maybe thrice over, depending how tonight goes. But
unless Woody shows out.
I like that strategy just because it keeps my brain a little more sane.
Yeah.
Like our good friend Alan Soslowski playing in 40 different leagues. How do you keep track of everything? You're rooting for every single player on every team to do something almost.
Now, what happens if there is, like, you get that Shefty tweet at 10:45? This guy's hurt. You're like, okay, I have him starting in 13 leagues, but which one?
Yeah, and you got to like cycle through, and you're using 4 different platforms. Each one has 8 tabs for different leagues within those platforms. It sounds like my nightmare, but Soslowski lives for it.
I respect it. I really do. A lot of text rolling in here. 1-833-401-1440. Fantasy hockey. Keeper league, 16 teams. Roster size, 39. You keep 30. Goals, assists, power play points, plus minus PIMs, shorthanded points for players, goals against, save percentage, and shutouts for goalies. Waiver wire coming up. I need help everywhere. Have a rebuilding team. To Misa, Frondell, Rybacon in the draft. Who do you see being a better keeper pick? Maxon, Shabinov, or Jet Greaves? Duke, can you dig into the Rolodex for this one?
This is a deep league. My goodness.
These are names I haven't heard of in years.
So Shabonov, not one I'm super familiar with, to be very, very honest with you. Played in Russia the last number of seasons. KHL, really good numbers there. 67 points in 65 games.
Tiny guy.
Last year, little. 5'8", 150 pounds.
Who's he even playing with?
Good question. Islanders.
Okay.
1 year entry-level deal. opportunity should be plentiful on the Islanders because I think they're going to be a really bad team again this season. And then Jet Greaves, goaltender, obviously. What's the like? Are the Blue Jackets making a move goaltending wise? I think they're probably going to roll with what they have at least for the time being, which as a result will limit opportunity. If we're talking opportunity for upside, I think Shabonov seems like the smarter play at least for the time being, because I think Merzlikins will still be getting the bulk of starts in Columbus.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one.
That is a wildly deep league.
JP texts in thoughts on McDavid going into the season without a contract, boys. Yeah, we saw the John Shannon report on Friday when I was sitting in for Gregor. To me, it just makes no sense. Like, if you just take McDavid at his word, saying he wants to be here and wants to win in Edmonton, the last 2 games, they've been, 3 games away potentially from winning a Stanley Cup. The Oilers are, I would assume, going to do whatever it takes to make this contract happen. Say, you sign for 16, let's do the term. This is what that extra couple million helps us out with. Or
offer him equity. Is that allowed?
I don't know if that's allowed anymore, but 17, we'll give you that, but that takes $1 million off putting money elsewhere. 18, we'll give you that, but that takes $2 million off of where we can spend elsewhere. But where do you want to go? Like, there's no number where I think the Oilers are going to push back. Term potentially, like they might ask for another year or 2. I wouldn't blame them, but Duke, I don't see what any hiccup would be in this negotiation. And if it goes into the regular season without a contract, all of a sudden that panic is starting to creep in. Like, why wasn't this done yet? It would be a little shocking to me.
I think panic sets in if training camp officially opens and there's not a deal done. And you have to question the motivation from McDavid's camp side. Like, he's a guy that doesn't really relish the opportunity to speak with media on a day-to-day basis. He likes to do his business. It's like, to him, hockey is a job, right? And he happens to be the best in the world at it, where I'm here to put in my work, do my time, teammates, coaches, that's all good and grand. Talking to the media, not, I think, and don't want to try and, put words into his mouth, I don't think it's his favorite thing to do. By starting the season, by starting training camp without a contract, all that does is invite more and more questions from the media, and specifically the same question every single day on repeat, often several times a day, probably. If you're talking about, before skates, afternoons, if you're a couple different sessions. I remain pretty steadfast that despite the word out there from some very reputable sources, I just have to think that this will get done before the season starts. If it leaks into training camp, even that's pushing it for me. I think it gets done.
I would totally agree with you. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And then we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, immediately it's a distraction. It's going to be brought up whenever he goes on the road. Like, if there's a slow start, do you think the contract's having anything to do with this? Like, unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. So hopefully they get it done sooner than later. James says, congrats on 2 years. Thank you. MTR says, long live Sports 1440. Love the station. Makes my day every day listening and interacting with you guys. Can't wait for the draft tonight. Appreciate you, boys. MTR, we appreciate you as well. Tiger says, I guess this is the anniversary of Duke giving me the name Tiger. Still haven't forgiven him. Was that you, Duke?
I thought it was both of us.
Was he texting in about Tiger Woods or something?
Yeah, and then we thought he was signing it as Tiger. I mean, we can go back and look because the technology of our text line allows us to see all history. And if we just scroll this back to September 5th, 2023, Tiger's been a big-time texter. This is taking me quite a while.
Yeah, we love Tiger. Lots of texts.
Oh my God, I'm not even out of August 2025 yet. Okay, I can't go back that far. This'll take me years.
Mitchell texted in, Tage Thompson over under 35.5 goals. Easiest future since Nugent Hopkins over under points was set at 82.5 last year. Also, Islanders, worst place for Shabonov or anyone offensive. He's like, what is it, 5'8", $156?
And that's probably generous.
Like, yeah, they usually, lie a little bit on those. So, small guy. JP says he doesn't believe John Shannon is a good source. I mean, he's
got more information than me.
He does. Like, he's got good connections, but unless McDavid wanted to leave, to me, there's no reason to not sign. Like, that's very obvious. But if he wants to be here, the Oilers will do whatever it takes to get him signed. There's not going to be I don't think there's going to be any negotiation. It'll be a hot knife through butter. Like whatever you want, we're going to do it. So
yeah, if it's 1 year, if it's 8 years or anything in between, regardless, like if Connor McDavid rolled in to Jeff Jackson's office tomorrow and said, yeah, I want a 4-year deal that pays me $22 million a season, which I don't even know if that's allowed under the current CBA, if that's too much, but it's like, call it a max deal. Do the Oilers even balk at it? Like, is the pen just slid across the desk? Even at that extreme of a situation, I think it is. I don't think there's even a moment of hesitation at all.
So the max is 20% of the cap. For the 2025-26 season, the max would be 19.1.
Wow. Okay.
So if he said 19.1.
Now listen, would that hamstring the Oilers next season? Kind of seems like it. But maybe that's what Connor wants.
But he wants to win.
But, well, maybe, and he thinks this is his last good chance to win is this year. And as a result, maybe he's not interested in signing an extension. See how this year goes and then go from there. That would be wild.
What other team is in the window and could afford north of, let's say, $17 million?
Well, that's kind of the biggest question in this situation is that realistically, give me a market that can afford to sign Connor McDavid, or if they were to make room to sign Connor McDavid, can remain as competitive as what the Oilers possess right now. You're playing every night, health pending, with arguably the second or third best player in the entire league. So where do those other options present themselves? Tampa Bay. Sorry, their money is tied up elsewhere. To make the necessary moves, they become a substantially less competitive team, in my opinion. Toronto, if you put Marner's in that camp, Colorado, like Edmonton does provide the best opportunity.
I agree.
As of right now.
And like you said, like other teams, hey, you want to clear out that space? They'd be like, for McDavid, yeah, we'll do it. We'll find a way to make 17 whatever mil work. But then how much do they lose, right?
Combination of cost of acquisition, because the Oilers, I think, would still try and trade it if it came to that, whether that be at the end of the year or moving forward. So players out the door for the net return, plus the dollar figures that would have to be out the door in that same deal or in subsequent deals, you're looking at a shell of the same team that first eyed McDavid as a target.
Hey, Duke, there's a reason the Oilers goaltending is $3.5 million.
Wow. Is that the first time you've ever said that, Connor?
Groundbreaking stuff.
What a profound notion.
There's a reason. That's why.
You have to allocate your money appropriately.
You don't want to, like the Cincinnati Bengals giving 4 players 44% of their deal or their salary. That's wild to me still. But yeah, I don't know, guys. If it doesn't get signed by camp or the regular season, heaven forbid, it might be a little bit of nerves. But I just don't see why that would happen. Pat Cap says he'll sign tomorrow, same date as Leon, September 3rd. We will wait and see.
That could be currently the one solace that Oilers fans still have in their corner is that we haven't even, like, at this time last year, Leon had not yet signed his extension.
Yeah.
And that got done, taken care of. Do I think it will be tomorrow? But I still, if I had to like put my money somewhere, I would still say before training camp officially opens, an extension will be signed.
I'm with you. HT says sole purpose of hiring Jackson was to get the McDavid contract done. And Playbook Vic says for Dallas, Ottinger and Heiskanen. Well, I guess that'd be nice for the Dallas sports fans to
who's playing goal for Dallas after that. Casey DeSmith?
Yep.
All of a sudden, I think the Oilers goaltending situation looks pretty desirable.
Maybe Pickard has to go back the other way.
So Cal Pickard and Casey DeSmith, career journeyman backups.
Hey, I don't know what to tell you. It's not my trade offer, so I can't really argue it.
Yeah, maybe that'll be the longer this draws out without an extension in place, we'll just start to open the text line to more and more trade proposals.
Immediately followed by people like, why are you entertaining this?
Can we put them in the doesn't I know Puckpedia has a trade machine, but I don't think it gives you like likelihood of acceptance, just the actual financials and how it would work. Do we need to like get the newest edition of NHL 26 and pump this into there to get the realistic nature of any of these proposals?
As real as possible.
No matter what, to me, a Connor McDavid trade, pretty much regardless of offer, the answer is no if you're the Oilers.
Yeah, I'm with you for sure. Greg on YouTube quickly says, looking good on camera, boys. Thanks, Greg. We'll read the rest too. I drafted 12 on Friday, a second running back strong at quarterback, meh at wide receiver. Got a B+ and predicted to finish third. Either way, most difficult schedule according to Yahoo. Hey, well, you'll fight through it. A B+, that's okay. You just don't want that A+. I feel like that's the curse from Yahoo Sports. We'll take a break here. When we come back, more text. We'll talk some NFL football as we're just a couple days away as well. It is Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440 and streaming on Sports 1440's YouTube channel, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
The biggest game of the season, your Edmonton Elks Labor Day rematch with the Calgary Stampeders on Saturday, September 6th. It's the next gen game presented by National Bank. Kids get in free with a paid adult P5 ticket, and tickets start at just $20. Score yours at goelks.com.
Reduce fine lines and wrinkles while strengthening your hair with BioSil. It's a clinically proven, Ishura-tested product that helps in the formation of collagen. Find BioSil now at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicks things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
While the players gear up for the new season, make sure you gear up your snack game with Will Hawk Beef Jerky.
Okay, this jumbo bag of beef jerky should last the preseason.
Whoa. Will Hawk has more than just beef jerky. There's smoked sausage and pepperoni products, too.
Well, how about we have jerky for Eastern opponents and pepperoni sticks when we face the Western teams?
Now that sounds like a Will Hockey game plan.
Will Hawk Beef Jerky, because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton sports fans, stay informed
with Sports 1440. Stream us.
Listen to us on the AM dial.
However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
Measles outbreaks are occurring in Canada, including Alberta. These outbreaks are highly preventable. Measles is an extremely contagious disease that is spread easily through the air. The best way to protect yourself, your family, and your community is to ensure you are up to date with your immunizations. Don't get measles. Get immunized. Visit alberta.ca/measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Who should start? Who needs to hit the bench? Find out with Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas.
This is Sports 1440.
Presented by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
$11:25. Welcome back to Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440. Also streaming Sports 1440 AM on YouTube. I think we're up on Facebook and Instagram. I don't think too many people watch long-term on Instagram, but if you are just popping on, and hey, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Fantasy Frenzy brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at willhawkbeefjerky.com. Only available in Leduc. Go pay him a visit, tell him we sent you, and just maybe tell Trent, hey, you're sorry about the loss of Micah Parsons. Hopefully Kenny Clark plays well. 2 first-round picks, not a bad return. But go get some beef jerky because it's the best you're going to have. I promise you that. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas with you here from the Stingray Studios in West Edmonton Mall. We got Josh Fenwick here as well, keeping us on track on the streams. Text line 1-833-401-1440. Duke, some news out of the NFL. It's not maybe necessarily the biggest of news, but Najee Harris, clear to play. So he's going to be going week 1 for the LA Chargers when they're down in Sao Paulo, Brazil, taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. They also drafted Omarion Hampton. So maybe this week, I don't know. I don't have any Chargers running backs in my leagues so far. Maybe that muddies the waters a little bit. I think Omarion Hampton is going to be a good player for this team for a long time. But for 1 year, Najee Harris might also be getting some looks. I don't know how that vision is going to be. He did take a firework, I believe, to the face on July 4th. So that was, 2 months ago. Didn't play in any preseason games, was often spotted working to the side, wearing sunglasses all the time. We'll have to wait and see how it works out. Also, the Rams do expect Matthew Stafford to play on Sunday against the Texans. Now, Duke, I'm sure you had hoped that he wouldn't. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams owners, probably pretty thrilled by this, but we'll have to see because, kind of ho-hum when it comes to Matthew Stafford and his back. And one big hit, Texans edge rushers can get to the quarterback. Who knows what happens?
And also the fact that he hasn't, been playing in no preseason action, very limited through camp. So if he's a veteran guy, but rust is still a real thing, regardless of how many games and pass attempts you have under your belt. There's nothing quite like the real simulation of taking hits from opponents and, being in game speed action. So I think this is even with him playing, I still think it's advantage Texans in this week 1 matchup with the defense that they possess. Some new players to work into the mix there, particularly Devontae Adams, how he fits in as the new number 2 wide receiver. I still like my Texans in this week one matchup.
It is interesting. I think I'd probably side with you. I'm very intrigued by CJ Stroud this year. Obviously, huge rookie year. Didn't continue the progression some had hoped. Still got a nice playoff win, but year 3 could be a big one for the young man. Also, it looks like Gabe Davis going back to the Buffalo Bills. Read into that what you want. Obviously, that's where he probably had his best success. He was boom or bust for a lot of weeks when it came to fantasy football. Do you remember our first year on the airwaves? It was like, what's Gabe Davis going to do this week? Could it be 3 touchdowns or it could be nothing? But, they'd have Keon Coleman. And as a Keon Coleman owner, I find this a little bit discouraging. They also have Josh Palmer and Khalil Shakir. So maybe just a nice depth piece. I'm sure Gabe Davis wanting to go somewhere where he's got some familiarity. Looks like his practice squad to start the season, but I'm sure he'll be making his way onto the active roster at some point. I think it's a good move for him. Go have a good season with a good quarterback, potentially be a free agent once again because, he was given a pretty nice deal from the Jacksonville Jaguars who released him after just 1 season. I didn't like that fit when he signed there, but anywho, that doesn't matter. The Bills also signed Jordan Poyer back to their practice roster, who had been with them for a long time, had some really good time there. I am very unsure, Duke, about almost any Buffalo Bill outside of James Cook and Josh Allen. Kincaid is a guy that I thought about drafting, passed on him. Probably has some upside, but now when it comes to the pass catchers, that might be almost Green Bay territory where I just stay clear because who's going to separate themselves? Josh Palmer, a good player when he's healthy, has dealt with a lot of injuries. Khalil Shakir, I think, is a guy who Josh Allen trusts in key situations. Keon Coleman has all the talent. And I think at times last year it looked like he could take that next step. Gabe Davis, we'll have to wait and see. But any receiver you like on that Bills squad, Duke?
No, I don't. And I still think the Bills are going to win the division running away, probably contend for the number 1 seed in the AFC, but it will be a by committee approach. So if we're talking fantasy football, it'll be so frustrating as an owner of any of these receivers week to week because which one is Josh Allen's favorite target? And who knows, as the season moves along, maybe some patterns start to emerge and you feel more comfortable playing Keon Coleman every week, or sitting Josh Palmer as just a good reserve player on your bench rather than putting them in your starting lineup. But to start with, like, this is a largely new collective. Like, it's only Keon Coleman's second season, and I think he was one of the rookie receivers that underwhelmed a little bit in year number one because he didn't have a ton of big name competition for targets there, and he still didn't come away with huge numbers in his freshman campaign. So the Bills offense for me right now, like you said, Josh Allen, James Cook, I think are reliable and pretty surefire options. But outside of that, it's big time wait and see right now for me.
Yeah, I totally would agree with you on that one. Like, I thought Keon Coleman had glimpses, and I had heard some reports that in the red zone he was kind of getting a little bit more trust from Josh Allen, but the other guys we will have to see. Now, we did talk a little bit about potentially, if who would be interested to make a deal for Connor McDavid if it were to happen, and I fully expect someone to tell us to not talk about this. But Mark had said, what if it's McDavid and Pickard for Robertson and Ottinger? Unholy Goalies said, what about McKinnon and Blackwood? Like, I don't know if Colorado would trade Nathan McKinnon. Like, obviously, he's top 3 in the world. McDavid's 1. But do you think, Duke, like, would they make that move? I don't know. I feel like there might be one of those things where, like, we can win with him, and keeping his legacy in Colorado matters to us.
And like, you're talking about giving up your best player and your starting goaltender for one player.
Yeah.
I get it. McDavid is the best player. Like, it's full stop. But if you're the Avalanche, is that worth it? To lose 2 pieces to the difference between McKinnon to McDavid is there, but it's not like you're trading away Brock Nelson and Mackenzie Blackwood. Oh, I think it's fair to say that if you're the Avalanche in this deal, McDavid for McKinnon Blackwood, you're getting worse. Their goaltending was in such dire straits, they completely overhauled the entire tandem and then signed Blackwood to an extension like 3 games into his Avalanche tenure. They're high on him. I don't think the Avalanche would say yes to that.
Gilly says Bobrovsky has 10 mil coming off the books soon. If he goes to Florida, help me God. Gilly, I don't think that's going to happen. That'd be something. We had AA Ron saying who's going to be bold enough to make the first pick in the sleeper pool. Are results not public for that, Duke?
They become public once it locks.
So I assume people have made.
Oh yeah,
picks.
My pick's been locked in. I'm taking the Cardinals week 1 over the Saints. I think the Bengals will be another chalky pick, even if there's a little hesitancy after last year's letdown, losing to the Patriots week 1. But will they really lose to the Browns? The Browns are terrible.
Well,
not as terrible, but
some say they're not that bad.
Not as terrible as the Saints.
It's a big debate. Eagles seems like a safe one too.
Over the Cowboys.
Just start it off and then don't stress it. But I shouldn't be talking about safe picks.
Yeah, get out of week 1 and then run your mouth a little, Connor.
I won't. I'm not even running my mouth. This is just whole observations. Dolphins, Colts. I don't believe in either team enough. It's funny. We've had a lot of like beat reporters come on the station, and no one's been overly negative. Like Saints, yeah, Browns, yeah, but like Colts, people there believe they got a good roster if they can just get quarterback figured out. Raiders, Pats. I'm leaning Pats, but I'm not counting out the Raiders. I think you have a good one here with Cardinals, Saints, Jets, Steelers. Not touching it. Giants, Commanders. I mean, Commanders should, but I'll still avoid it. Panthers, Jags. Not touching it. Broncos, Titans, I think should be an easy one. Broncos should win at home. Rookie quarterback going into a mile high. I think that'll be a tough one. Niners, Seahawks. No. Lions, Packers. No. Texans, Rams. No. Ravens, Bills. No. Vikings, Bears. Probably lean Vikings, but it's in Chicago Monday night. Oh, I cannot wait for that one.
I'm on the Bears there.
I can't wait to rip home and watch football on Monday. Anyway.
Oh, I'm just so excited.
Just speeding home.
I'm excited. It's for 6 days from now.
I'm going to go on 184th to Ray Gibbon and go 130 and still get passed by people.
You're not excited for Friday night in Brazil?
Oh, very excited. I wonder if I can leave early. I wonder if Gregor minds if I sneak out at 5:40 and Declan can just handle.
Can't you just get it going in here? Then just watch the first half from the studio and then leave?
I could do that. I like to see my little boy though.
Yeah,
before
you
he
got
goes to bed.
to open the season with little Benny in your arms, wearing his little Justin Herbert jersey.
He can't watch TV. He has to look the other way.
Wow.
And he will crank his neck like backwards.
Well, yeah, he desires football. It's in his blood.
If I hold him on YouTube and you're watching and like his head's pointing that way, he'll like exorcism his neck, turn right around and watch football. He loves
like an owl.
Like an owl. Anyway, it's gonna be awesome. But you can let us know if you're in the Survivor pool. If you haven't got in yet, actually, we still have obviously a couple more days before you can get in.
Mhm.
Thursday at noon. If you want to join, $10 e-transfer to Brandon at sports1440.ca. Include your email in the memo. $10 buy-in, one per person, and we're going to be giving half the money to Septemeber, and then the rest will go to the winner, first place only. And then for the Fantasy Frenzy League, we got our draft tonight. $350 going to go to Say. So I'll make that donation probably after the show here. So shout out to everyone who got in on that tournament. We really do appreciate it. Even if you didn't get picked, you can take some pride that you made a minimum $10 donation to the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton, who unfortunately was defunded, needs a little more money, and we'll make that donation today. Text line is 1-833-401-1440. Braden says, I trade McDavid, Skinner, and Nurse to the Rangers. Shesterkin, Lafreniere, Schneider, and 5 first-round picks. Actually, someone else had said New York potentially because Panarin comes off the board. It was Hacksaw. Says Panarin comes off the board next year, and they have the pieces for a trade. So
they have some pieces. That does not include 5 first-round picks.
6?
No.
7?
No.
4?
No.
3?
Maybe if you're talking Shesterkin, Lafreniere, and Schneider, McDavid, Skinner, and Nurse. Well, in most people's mind, giving them Skinner and Nurse is like, yeah, they have to pay. Oilers would have to pay more to get them out of town. So then all of a sudden it's down to like 1 first. Maybe the Oilers might need to throw in a first-round pick just to get them to take it.
Shesterkin has a no movement clause.
But think about it. What if he wants to win, Connor?
Igor, we got McDavid. Will you waive it? Of course. Well, that means I have to leave? Yeah, sorry. I don't know if that's going to happen. We could have done a good role play there. Actually.
Five, yeah. Which is who amongst us is doing the Russian accent?
I don't want to do it.
Neither do I. The 5 first-round picks, the Rangers are absolutely not doing this trade. I'm sorry.
Panarin comes off. He's actually 11.6 schmil.
Then the Oilers sign him.
Yeah. Why not just do that? Lafreniere, 7.45. No movement clause. Sans, no movement clause. Where do you think Panarin ends up? You think he'll just resign?
I think it's the highest likelihood. Maybe he goes to Florida.
Probably.
They ditch Bobrovsky and then bring in Panarin. And then their goalie is, I don't know, someone else.
They traded Spencer Knight, right?
Yeah, he's Chicago now.
Man, Redman's still had 37 goals last year. Guy can still put the puck in the net. He's 34. Well, 35 next season. He's almost a Halloween baby. October 30th. So that'll be interesting to see. Maybe he wants to win. Maybe he's like, you know what? I'm coming to Edmonton. Stan, it's happening. Craig and Red Deer says, maybe McDavid's the ultimate troll, sitting back watching the hysteria unfold, giggling his you-know-what off. Craig and Red Deer. That would be funny. He's like, it's going to happen, guys. Chill out. And then just makes them wait a little bit longer. Oilers can trade McDavid and still the best overall player in the world. McDavid is more exciting than Draisaitl, but Dry is still number 1 from Playbook Vic. I wonder what Leon Draisaitl would think if it happened. Like I all but assumed when Draisaitl signed 8 years, that was just locked in. Like it's going to happen. McDavid will sign. Gord Oil says, I don't believe McDavid is leaving. I think if there is something that concerns him, it's the pipeline of the future players. I don't think he can fix that with any contender that is going in year after year. Totally, Gord. Like if you're looking to add pieces at the deadline and such, you're going to make those moves. McDavid has a no movement clause. Why would he accept the trade with a team that has to be gutted to get him? If he is leaving, he rides out his contract and picks his team. Totally, Red. That's a really good point, right? He wouldn't want to be like, I'm going to this team. They have to give up all their star players to get me. I think if he were to test free agency, that's the route he would go and see what might be best. We trade McDavid. It'll include a restaurant in prestigious downtown Edmonton, a.k.a. Miss McDavid's Place. Have you been down to that one, Duke?
I have not.
Trove? Is that what it's called?
I don't really think it's my scene.
They won't let you in.
Yeah, they'd take one look at me and be like, yeah, back of the line, loser.
Beat it.
But sir, there is no line. Yeah, beat it.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to more text here, let you know what's coming up in the lowdown. And the Jason Gregor Show. It is Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440, streaming on Sports 1440 AM on YouTube. We'll be back after the break.
Reduce fine lines and wrinkles while strengthening your hair with BioSil. It's a clinically proven, Ishura-tested product that helps in the formation of collagen. Find BioSil now at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
At Fountain Tire, you can save $50 off tire storage with the purchase of 4 select tires now until September 30th at participating locations.
Okay.
Or you could squeeze them into your backseat, possibly causing upholstery damage, drive them home, struggle, sweating buckets trying to get them out of your vehicle, resulting in you feeling guilty for not going to the gym more often, or at all. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. Totally up to you.
Definitely $50 off the tire storage.
You got it. Book your appointment today at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
Blue Jays fans, this weekend and every weekend, you can catch Toronto Blue Jays ball games right here on Sports 1440. Ben Schulman provides the play-by-play. You provide the chips and beer. Check out the Blue Jays this weekend on Edmonton's home for sports. Sports 1440.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. It's the most wonderful time of year. Back to school. Let's be honest, we're all doing cartwheels. What great news. And while I'm at it, Northgate is having a back to school sale. That's right, August 22nd to September 2nd. 0% financing, employee pricing, savings up to 18 grand, school supplies for a year with every purchase. So why don't you drop the kids off at school and come celebrate with us? 13215 97th Street or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Work never gets done by standing around. You have to put your words into action. And that's exactly what GS Construction does every single day. Our priorities are safety first, quality second, efficiency third. GS Construction works hard. It's true. But first comes the care, the planning, and the people. Underground infrastructure isn't just about machines and trenches and some traffic inconveniences. It's about doing things right. Find out more on what we do. Visit gsconstruction.ca.
Prepare for the pulse-pounding excitement of Indian relay races.
This is the original extreme sport. 3 teams, 1 wild season, and they're all chasing glory.
To be successful, it can't ride safe.
Horse Warriors. It's on Thursday nights on APTN TV. You're gonna love it. Premieres September 4th.
Get the inside scoop for your team on Fantasy Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
11:44. Welcome back. It is Fantasy Frenzy here on Sports 1440, streaming on our YouTube channel, Sports 1440 AM. Go like and subscribe. We'll have exclusive content, shorts, reels. I think those are the same thing, but go check us out on YouTube. Also Facebook and X right now. We are also streaming. Hit that like button. We would appreciate that greatly. Connor Halley, Brandon Douglas, Josh Fenwick with you here. Brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky, online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com. Want to let you guys know the annual Sports Central Bike Drive is underway. We're proud to partner with Sports Central for the 3rd annual drive this September. The goal is to collect 1,000 new or gently used bikes that need minor repairs this month, so the 25 volunteers in the Sports Central Bike Shop have time to restore them and repair them by spring. Sports Central donates 350 to 500 bikes every month to deserving kids from ages 4 to 17, along with a helmet for safety, giving them a sense of freedom and independence. So if you want to check out where you can make your donation, September 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th, that's all Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., you can head over to sports1440.com. There'll be all the information there that you can check it out. But Bonnie Doon, Fountain Tires West, Londonderry, Atchison, Beaumont, Riverbend locations, and United Sport and Cycle. So we'll be collecting a lot of bikes here. Any more information, let us know. 1-833-401-1440. We can pass it along to you. Coming up next is the Lowdown Flow Tide. It's Tuesday. Donovan Paulson will be in here. Good news for everybody. He's going to be on YouTube as well. Everybody wants to see Low Tide on the tube, and it is finally happening. So make sure you go check that out at Sports 1440 AM. They'll be doing another edition of Hi, My Name Is, NHL Rumors, Declan Something. It'll be a good time on the show from noon till 2. And then from 2 till 6, it is the Jason Greger Show. He is back from vacation, which is nice. I can slide over there and go back to my usual shtick. We'll have Woodley on the program from In Goal Magazine. Cody Fajardo, quarterback for the Edmonton Elks. Always a good interview. Terry Ryan will swing by, our co-host, from 3 till 5 every Tuesday and Thursday. We've got Dave McCarthy from SiriusXM NHL. Ryan's Rant, the Oil Report. Jason Strudwick, local celebrity, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and then Mark Spector again. So it'll be a very busy day today here on Sports 1440. Of course, Fox Sports Radio all night, 24/7 sports on this great station. Let's dive into the inbox for Elks Nation. 2 episodes a week, breaking down the green and gold with Grey Cup champion Eddie Steele and Declan Kruger. You can get it on YouTube or wherever you find your podcast, Elks Nation. I'm looking forward to listening to today's show. I think post Labor Day, probably a pretty good program they'll be putting out there. Some tough thoughts.
Yeah. What did you make of the game last night, Connor?
Not good. I think you do have to give credit to Calgary, who's built a very good team. Like getting Vernon Adams there, I think was a very good move. I will say, like, despite the final score, it felt like the Elks were in it for a long time, but they just couldn't get that big play. The Elks offensive line, I thought, lost the battles more times than not. And even if the Stamps were only rushing 3, like they were just finding ways to get home and kind of confusing the offensive lines. So I didn't think Cody Fajardo had much of a chance. A couple times Rankin got the ball and he was, 3, 4, 5 yards in the backfield. They took some shots downfield to Julian Grant, but couldn't connect. And, you hit a couple of those, and I think teams play you a little bit more honest, but I just think it was won and lost in the trenches in that game. What did you think?
Well, yeah, you talk about the trenches, and the final stat line reads 4 sacks for the Stampeders. If at the end of the game you had just told me, and I watched the whole game, it's like, oh yeah, the Elks gave up 12 sacks tonight, I would have believed you without a second thought, because that is just how much pressure Cody Fajardo was under. And sometimes he got back to the line of scrimmage or just got rid of the ball into, no chance of a reception or anything. He was under duress. And even earlier in the game, before the pressure really mounted, and listen, he was still under pressure a lot of the time making these throws. He didn't, to my eye, look the same pinpoint passer that we've seen so far this season. I just thought he looked a little off even in the early going on a couple of, you mentioned some shots downfield or even across the middle. So it just seemed like things were out of sync for the Elks offense all night. I still don't love some of the play calling that Jordan McSimmons has been implementing. But on a positive note, I thought the defense actually had a pretty good game. They limited the attack. Yes, Dedrick Mills still had a pretty good day, over 100 yards, but they limited the air attack. VA Jr. has been really good this year, and he was efficient yesterday, if unspectacular. So defensively, there's positives to pull from it on the other side of the ball, and even on special teams. I mean, you give up the return touchdown. Yeah. That's never. I mean, that the Elks won the game, right? When Javon Leake pulled that off, was that last week or the week previous? Essentially, like, you need big plays like that to win you football games. And that's kind of when the game really flipped and got out of hand against the Stamps yesterday, was on Brooks' return touchdown.
Yeah, and for Coach Killam, a former special teams coordinator, that's going to grind his gears that happens. And, like I said, 28-7 doesn't look good. But, I don't think the Elks were that far off. Like you said, punt return's going to inflate that a little bit. Defense, I thought in the first half, played pretty well, did their job. And it's tough. I will say, like, I know that the Edmonton Elks on special teams, you're thrilled to get Julian back, right? Like, the guy is a great punter. But I do think that a little more hang time. You can't be out kicking your coverage too much. That was the case a few times. And I mean, we saw that for a long time. Like Hugh O'Neill would bomb it, and there wouldn't be Elks gunners within like 15 yards. So if they can get a little more hang time, maybe a little less distance, I think that probably benefits them. Yeah, it's a little bit better field position, but you're also not giving up the big returns. Declan Kruger walked in here looking cool as ever right now. He's back from vacation, ready to roll here.
I saw he was out riding a horse this weekend. Cowboy Dick.
Well, you go down to Southern Alberta. I think that's what you have to do.
Out working the land, working the kettle.
Nail says, I feel throw forward the next game, then go game by game. Well, and I mean, that's going to be something to follow as we roll on for the rest of the season here. Like, if they lose games and the playoff picture is dwindling away, do you look back to Trey Ford? Montana to Rice says, two-leg parlay. Bijan, Offense Player of the Year. Will Anderson, Defensive Player of the Year. $20 to win $3,600. How we feeling? I mean, I kind of had mentioned, was it with you or maybe on the Gregor show, like Will Anderson breakout, maybe?
Mm-hmm. I texted MTR back and said, like, I find that the Defensive Player of the Year each season is kind of a little bit of a crapshoot. Like, you know who the best defensive players are. Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, Micah Parsons. If we're talking guys up front, there's some really good players back in secondary. Pat Surtain, Derek Stingley on the Texans.
Yeah.
But like, it all depends on, like, if Surtain has such a good season that, like, nobody throws to him where he is on the field, like, you're not going to pile up interceptions. You're not going to pile up numbers that pop off box scores at people. And those matter. Same thing can be said for sacks. Like, if you're a defensive lineman that is getting double teams all the time, and all of a sudden the guy on the other end is one accruing sacks for your team, well, now your numbers don't pop. So I find that the Defensive Player of the Year is one of the hardest to predict, or at least like even accurately forecast, because of some of those factors. As Bijan for Offensive Player of the Year, yeah, I could see that easily, for sure. The funny thing is, I actually don't think the Falcons are going to be very good again. I think they'll be right in the middle of the pack, miss the playoffs by a game or two. And if I were putting money down, mine would be on Jahmyr Gibbs for Offensive Player of the Year.
Gibby. I like that you say, like what you said about Patrick Surtain the second as well there, because I feel like there was a time in Darrell Revis' career as well, like year 4, it was just like, okay, don't throw his way. Like, he's shutting us down. He's eliminating guys. He's intercepting the football. Just stop throwing his way. And yeah, I think PS2 is kind of in that position as well. Bobby says, I can hear the conversation now. Rangers to Shesterkin. Hey, Igor, great news. McDavid's joining our team. The bad news is you're going to the Oilers. Shesterkin says, niet. Yeah, I mean, that probably wouldn't be ideal. Dr. J says, I wouldn't do a McDavid trade for anything less than what the Lindros trade turned into. Nothing less than 4 to 5 first rounders as well. I would only be concerned about the salary coming back, but I'm sure they could make it work. Yeah. Hey, this is just huge hypotheticals. Like, just the reports out there that they could go into the season without a contract for Connor McDavid. One text came in, like, what could you do to make a trade? And it's tough. I think every team would do it, but if you have to give up 2-3 really good players, how much ground are you making, right? The big contract that comes along with it certainly does make it tough. And that's why, you have to give, I'd say, the management crew in Edmonton going back-to-back Stanley Cup finals, adding those pieces, it's not easy. And the goaltending combination of $3.5 million for 2 goalies, it's tough to find that anywhere. So you kind of got to make it work. Try to fiddle around a little bit. It's usually the big sack guys on top 5 defenses. Anderson fits that. When it comes to Defensive Players of the Year, yeah, I like Anderson, man. Like, somewhere around here, I said I think he could be a breakout player. Even though he's had like good numbers, I don't think he gets like the recognition that TJ Watt and Myles Garrett, Hendrickson, Parsons get. I think this could be the year that Will Anderson vaults into that conversation, especially the way they came on towards the end of last year. Like, they can rush, they can cover. I think that defense is going to be really good. And in that division, that should be a first place team. More eyes on you, more attention. I think that certainly will not hurt them. Well, that music means we are done. Thank you guys again. Going into year 3 here on Sports 1440. We couldn't do it without you. Appreciate all you guys tuning into the show today. And in case you missed it, we are live on YouTube streaming all day long, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Check us out Sports 1440 AM. Like, subscribe, all the videos. Coming up next, it is Alan Mitchell making his YouTube debut. We're looking forward to it here on Sports 1440. We're Brandon Douglas and Josh Fenwick. I'm Connor Halley. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow, same time. Get you guys ready for the start of the NFL season. Right now, though, Sports 1440 update brought to you by Wilhauk Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Check them out online at wilhaukbeefjerky.com, only available in Leduc.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
14 games across the major leagues today, including the Blue Jays going at it again with the Reds from Cincinnati. First pitch coming up just before 5 o'clock. Jose Barrios on the bump for the Bluebirds. Elsewhere, Tigers hosting the Mets. Dodgers are in Pittsburgh. Red Sox host the Guardians. Yankees taking on the Astros from Houston. Orioles are in San Diego. And the Rangers take on the D-backs in the nightcap. NHL offseason news. Toronto Maple Leafs signing goaltender Dennis Hildeby to a 3-year extension, going through the 26-27 seasons, carrying an AAV of just over $840,000. Hildeby was an RFA this summer. And from the NFL, Gabe Davis reportedly heading back to the Buffalo Bills, signing on to the team's practice roster. Davis had left the Bills a season ago, signing a big deal in Jacksonville. And from the U.S. Open in New York, a pair of Canadian women in doubles action. Gabby Dabrowski with her partner Aaron Routliffe set to get underway just after the top of the hour. And later this afternoon, Leila Annie Fernandez and her new partner Venus Williams. Both those matches quarterfinal action. Coming up on Sports 1440, it is the Lowdown with Low Tide. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
This is